I'm going to show you how to adjust the upper rubber cut edge. There's two different fastener sizes here. There's 9/16, there's 3 of them, one in the center and on each end, and the other 10 fasteners are 1/2 inch. I'll show you the reason for that after I remove it. But on the end two, you need to have a wrench to hold them. You can just loosen the fastener up. Center, same thing. And the other end. And once you have those loosened up, then these fasteners, I'll show you, they are attached. You don't need to use a wrench on the bottom, and you can just spin them back. Okay, once you have all those fasteners loosened, this rubber squeegee, which I'll show you, your cut edge, has slots in it. So now I'll be able to slide this forward. I'm going to grab a mallet so I can tap on it. There are slots, so you could move it forward. As you'll notice now as I tap it forward, you see how this distance on the back is changing. Okay, so say if you had wore this edge down, we recommend if you measure the top, it's kind of a general measurement. We say 5/8 to 3/4 inch showing on the front side. Right now I'm about 7/8, but if you wore this bottom corner, you might want to slide it out further. Anyway, it's kind of preference. We preset them at the factory where we think they preferably should be. But anyway, you can see you could slide this thing way out if you wore it down a lot. I'm going to the end of the slots here. You see how far it's sticking out. Likewise, if you were ever using the blower and this edge got pushed back, it's because that fastener wasn't tight. So you just loosen the fasteners up, bring the thing down. So what our recommendation is 5/8 to 3/4 inch from the top of this edge to the top corner of the rubber, because it's going to be wearing on this side, but it's just kind of an initial setting or a recommended setting. So here I would just line the thing up. If I was moving it forward because I wore it down, I might have a 3/4 inch or better measurement here, but I would just make sure that measurement's equal and then go back and snug all the fasteners down. These fasteners in the middle of a 1/2 inch, they are just squeezing on rubber. So you could get real aggressive and just keep drawing them down and it'll just squash the rubber out. You need them good and snug so the rubber doesn't move, but you don't need to over tighten them. It's quite different. The two end fasteners in the center, the 9/16 fasteners, when I take them out, you'll see why there's some spools underneath here. And what they do is create a bridge effect. So this bottom steel piece and this upper steel piece act like one unit, like a honeycomb, and add strength. So that is the reason for this. I'll remove these now and you can see everything that I'm talking about there. You can see I'm lifting the top metal plate off, and I'll show you after I set this down. Now, Peter, if you can come in and you'll see the slots in this rubber. And you also see, remember the bushings I talked about at the end? When we tighten those ends down, it squeezes on those bushings again and creates a good structure or adds strength to the cut edge. So if you were going to replace this, you just remove those spools, lift the rubber cut edge up and replace it, and or You do have 4 sides to use if you wanted a new sharp edge. See how I just flipped it? You could flip it, reassemble it, now you got a nice sharp square edge again. So I guess the next step I can go through is reassembling. Reassembling, you drop the spools in, the center hole and the 2 end holes. Then what I do is if you line up that spool so it's lined up with the hole, because you're going to be setting this metal edge on, so you're sure that you can get the fastener through. Now you probably noticed that I didn't mention, but these 1/2-inch full thread bolts, they have a nut on them that actually holds this bottom piece together, and so that's why I didn't need to hold it with a wrench. And you set the cut edge back on. Okay, once it's on, now you could take your 9/16 fastener, come up through. I can look down and see that that spool is lined up. It's like it's supposed to. I have a flat washer here. We don't have a flanged nylock on the 9/16. And I go to the center one, look that that spool is lined up, shove the fastener through. Same thing on the other end. Looking at that spool that it's lined up. Putting the flat washer on. Now is where you want to kind of see that you have it straight. This edge, you could use a ruler if you'd like to, or just visually look at it. You want to move the edge so it's even all the way along. And I'd say, you know, from 5/8 to 3/4 inch out the front is proper. Now, once you have those in position, you can start putting all the 1/2-inch nuts on. Okay, I'm just kind of rechecking that everything looks good and straight here. The straighter it is, the better, but not ultimately critical, because the edge will wear slightly so it's flat on the surface. So I'm re-looking at it. And now I'm going to go through with the 3/4 inch wrench and tighten the fasteners down that are just squeezing on rubber. And you can see I'm just bringing it down so it securely squeezes the rubber. Meanwhile, I'm looking that the thing is generally staying pretty straight. Okay, now once you've got those tight, you can grab your 7/8 and 13/16, so 13/16 head on the bolt and 7/8 on the nut. Now these you want to tighten up snug. So you watch here. See, I'm tightening, so I'm squeezing that bushing in between there. You wouldn't be able to collapse that like you could the rubber. And there, I've showed you, there I actually flipped that rubber. Say if you had this edge had gotten really wore out after use and it was rounded and you wanted a sharper edge, again, you have 4 sides, you can flip it, you can adjust it. We don't see these wearing real fast. They're a high abrasion rubber, but eventually you will wear them out, and that's how you replace them or adjust them.